Caitlin Clark has certainly made a significant impact on women's basketball. Her transition to the European League must be an exciting moment, not just for her, but for fans and aspiring players around the world. It'll be interesting to see how her style of play adapts to this new environment and what records she might break next. Do you follow her career closely?
Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. It's a good number for the WNBA on an NFL Sunday. However, that was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
Caitlin Clark's lifetime contract and her debut in Europe sound like a landmark moment for women's basketball. Her talent and competitive spirit have not only made her a fan favorite, but have also opened doors for greater recognition and opportunities for female athletes globally. The excitement surrounding her first game, with fans in Barcelona eagerly awaiting her arrival, highlights how she's becoming a symbol of the sport's growth and evolution. It's fantastic to see players like her inspiring a new generation and changing the narrative around women's sports. What aspects of her game do you think resonate the most with fans?
Anticipation. Fans, analysts, and players alike are eager to see how her amazing skills will perform in a whole new setting. Everyone knows that her entrance into the European League has created a buzz greater than anyone expected.
She needs to be on a better team.
Now it's official. Caitlin Clark has announced a lifetime contract in Europe, and she's not coming back.
Absolutely. Caitlin Clark's signing with Barcelona Basket is a strategic move that reflects a larger vision for the growth and visibility of women's basketball in Europe. By bringing in a player of her caliber, the league not only enhances its competitiveness, but also attracts more fans, sponsors, and media attention. Her presence can elevate the league as a whole and inspire younger players across Europe. It's a pivotal moment for the sport, and it will be exciting to see how her journey unfolds and what impact she has on both her team and the league overall. Do you think this trend of signing top talent will continue in women's basketball?
Down Nelson Adota. Clark will fire and hit the three.
Caitlin Clark truly seems like a game changer for Barcelona's women's team. It's exciting to see how her unique talent can shift the focus and elevate the profile of women's basketball in Europe, traditionally overshadowed by the men's leagues. Her ability to captivate audiences and deliver exceptional performances can help build a strong fan base and inspire other players in the league. As she integrates into the team and showcases her skills, it'll be fascinating to watch how her presence influences the dynamics of the league and raises the overall standard of play. Do you have any predictions for her impact on the team or the league as a whole?
Her first game for weeks, buzzing with excitement over the energy she would bring to their league. It is a rare occasion for a player of Clark's talent to make the journey across the Atlantic to play in Europe. Barcelona Basket Femení.
Recuperar el Sant Adrià.
Sí, això és minibàsquet, tenen 12 anys i han de passar aquestes coses, el seu ritme és altíssim i no és fàcil prendre decisions, però el més important és que tots dos equips han lluitat.
It sounds like Barcelona is really embracing Caitlin Clark as a central figure, not just for their team, but for the broader movement in women's sports. By showcasing her image prominently and leveraging social media, they're not just promoting a player. They're creating a narrative that celebrates women's basketball and its rising stars. This kind of visibility can have a lasting impact on the sport, encouraging more girls to pursue basketball and attracting more fans to women's games. The partnership with major brands like Nike adds another layer of legitimacy and excitement, highlighting the commercial potential of women's basketball. It's a great time for the sport, and I'm sure fans are eager to see how this movement unfolds. What do you think will be the long-term effects of this kind of marketing on women's basketball?
WNBA and the fact that NBA investors, actual NBA investors and owners, that would really be owners, are none too happy right now. And in fact, there's speculation that some of the financials are being possibly hidden even from the owners by the NBA and maybe Adam Silver.
The long-term effects of this kind of marketing on women's basketball could be profound. Here are a few key impacts to consider. By promoting star players like Caitlin Clark, women's basketball can gain more media coverage, leading to a broader audience and greater interest in the sport. As young girls see role models like Clark in the spotlight, they may be more inspired to take up the sport themselves, leading to increased participation at grassroots levels. With rising popularity, sponsors may become more willing to invest in women's basketball, leading to better resources for teams, higher salaries for players, and improved facilities. As women's basketball gains more recognition, it could contribute to a broader cultural shift in how women's sports are perceived, challenging stereotypes and promoting equality in sports. With players like Clark taking center stage internationally, the potential for women's basketball to grow on a global scale increases, encouraging more cross-border talent and competition. Overall, if this marketing momentum continues, it could set a precedent for how women's sports are promoted and supported, fostering a more inclusive and dynamic sports landscape. What are you most excited to see in the future of women's basketball?
Listen, she's a rookie. It's going to happen whatsoever. But there's a lot of people that spent a long time building this league into what it is.
For many years, it has been the men's teams that captured all the attention in Europe, but now the women's team of Barcelona is prepared to carve its own place in the story. With Clark joining the squad, they felt they had
Caitlin Clark's impact really does seem to resonate far beyond just her performances on the court. The electric atmosphere in Hungary and the excitement from fans in Turkey highlight how her presence is elevating the entire landscape of European women's basketball. It's amazing to see how social media amplifies this buzz, creating a sense of community and shared anticipation among fans from different countries. As you mentioned, Clark is not just another player. She's becoming a transformative figure for the sport. The discussions around her potential recruitment by other teams, like Fenerbahce, show how she's setting a new standard for talent and drawing attention to the league as a whole. The looming question of whether she will meet these immense expectations adds to the intrigue. Given her track record, many believe she will rise to the occasion, but it will be fascinating to see how she handles the pressure and whether she can continue to inspire both her teammates and fans across Europe. What are your thoughts on how she might manage those expectations as she settles into this new environment?
Thought we responded really well, and Penn State went on some runs, and we seem to always have an answer, and you got to give credit. I thought Sydney was great. I thought Kylie was great. I thought Taylor was great. You got to step up when your teammates go down, obviously playing without Molly Davis. But I think the biggest key for us was to defend the three-point line.
Caitlin Clark's ability to thrive under pressure and embrace challenges makes her a standout player in any league, and it's exciting to see how she'll adapt her game to the European style. The transition to a new league, especially with its different rules and aggressive play, can be daunting, but her confidence and boldness give her an edge that few can match. The economic ripple effect she's creating is a testament to her star power. It's not just about her on-court performance. She's becoming a major brand in women's basketball, driving ticket sales and merchandise demand. This kind of influence can significantly benefit the entire league, attracting sponsors and increasing visibility for women's sports in general. As her popularity grows, it will be interesting to see how the European teams continue to market her and how she leverages her platform to promote women's basketball. What do you think will be the most significant changes we'll see in the league as a result of her presence?
Oh, the Sue Bird, Curly Sue!
Caitlin Clark's arrival in Barcelona and the subsequent economic uplift is a clear sign of her impact, not just on her team, but on European women's basketball as a whole. Doubling season ticket sales and exploding social media presence shows how one player can energize an entire franchise and even the local economy. It's exciting to see the sport thriving in Europe and how teams are adapting their marketing strategies to capitalize on this momentum. On the flip side, the WNBA's loss of Clark does seem to raise serious questions about its future direction. Losing a player of her caliber, especially someone who is seen as a pivotal figure for the league, presents a significant challenge. The downward trend in spectator numbers, coupled with increasing competition from European leagues, could signal a turning point for the WNBA. This situation might push the league to rethink its strategies for attracting and retaining talent, as well as how it markets its stars to keep fans engaged. Clark's influence could serve as a wake-up call for the WNBA to enhance its support for players and create more compelling narratives around them. It'll be fascinating to see how both the WNBA and European leagues evolve in response to this shifting landscape. What do you think the WNBA needs to do to regain its footing and compete with the growing allure of leagues like the one in Europe?
Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Caitlin Clark's arrival in Barcelona and the subsequent economic uplift is a clear sign of her impact, not just on her team, but on European women's basketball as a whole. Doubling season ticket sales and exploding social media presence shows how one player can energize an entire franchise and even the local economy. It's exciting to see the sport thriving in Europe and how teams are adapting their marketing strategies to capitalize on this momentum. On the flip side, the WNBA's loss of Clark does seem to raise serious questions about its future direction. Losing a player of her caliber, especially someone who was seen as a pivotal figure for the league, presents a significant challenge. The downward trend in spectator numbers, coupled with increasing competition from European leagues, could signal a turning point for the WNBA. This situation might push the league to rethink its strategies for attracting and retaining talent, as well as how it markets its stars to keep fans engaged. Clark's influence could serve as a wake-up call for the WNBA to enhance its support for players and create more compelling narratives around them. It'll be fascinating to see how both the WNBA and European leagues evolve in response to this shifting landscape. What do you think the WNBA needs to do to regain its footing and compete with the growing allure of leagues like the one in Europe?